This is the Epoch Times.
Welcome to Epoch Audio, showcasing the best journalism covering news, culture, and society, addressing issues overlooked or avoided by other media. For the text version of this and more articles providing truth, tradition, and hope, please go to theepochtimes.com.
Judge blocks Biden administration from damaging razor wire along U.S.-Mexico border, written by Zachary Stieber. The Biden administration must stop cutting and otherwise damaging razor wire that Texas has placed along the U.S.-Mexico border, a federal judge ruled on October 30. U.S. officials mustn't remove the wire or tamper with it, U.S. District Judge Alia Moses said as she entered a temporary restraining order. The exception is in cases of medical emergencies that would most likely result in serious bodily injury or death to a person, provided no life-saving apparatus is available. Judge Moses, an appointee of former President George W. Bush, wrote in her ruling, "The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, which includes border agents, told news outlets it doesn't comment on pending litigation, but would comply with the order." Mr. Paxton said in his complaint that U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP agents, were damaging the wire to allow thousands of illegal immigrants to enter Texas. Mr. Paxton said federal agents not only cut Texas's concertina wire, but also attach ropes or cables from the back of pickup trucks to ease aliens' ability to illegally climb up the riverbank into Texas. And they regularly cut new openings in the wire fence, sometimes immediately after Texas officers have placed new wire to plug up gaps in fencing barriers. Several days later, Texas officials asked for the temporary restraining order, pointing to how federal agents had used a forklift on October 26 to hold up some of the wire so that a group of hundreds of immigrants could cross the border. The officials said, "This brazen escalation by defendants is an affront not only to Texas, but also to this court, which already had pending before it a motion for a preliminary injunction. This court should immediately grant a temporary restraining order to enjoin defendants from continuing to damage, destroy, or otherwise meddle with Texas's concertina wire fence until the court can rule on the state's preliminary injunction motion. Alternatively, this court could simply grant a preliminary injunction in light of defendants' willful misconduct." In a notice to the court on October 28, the officials said federal agents damaged another portion of the fence. Texas Military Department officer Roberto Ortiz Diaz attested to witnessing federal agents using a forklift to flatten the fence, letting dozens of illegal immigrants into Texas. "While the operator was flattening the concertina wire, I observed no medical emergencies among the migrants crossing the river, and I am not aware of any reason for CBP agents to flatten the concertina wire other than to allow an easier entry path for migrants arriving in the United States," Mr. Diaz said. Federal officials hadn't yet responded to the various filings as of press time. Likely to succeed. Judge Moses said Texas was likely to succeed in its claim that federal officials violated a law that prevents people from trespassing to interfere with a person's property. Texas has established that it owns the wires, she said, and multiple officials have said that they witnessed federal officials tamper with the barriers. Third and finally, the plaintiff established that the defendants lacked permission to interfere with the wires, she said. Judge Moses said that because she determined that Texas was likely to succeed in one of its claims, she need not analyze its other claims. The other claims include illegally exercising dominion over another's private property and acting in excess of statutory jurisdiction. The case is Texas versus U.S. Department of Homeland Security et al. It's being heard in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas. Thanks for listening to Epoch Audio. That was Judge Blocks Biden Administration from Damaging Razor Wire Along U.S.-Mexico Border, written by Zachary Stieber, read by Susan Williams.
For more Epoch Times articles in text, please visit theepochtimes.com.
This is the Epoch Times.